Hey everyone, it's Kelly. I am back today with a new process for my LA travel mini album that I am creating in a citrus twist life crafted album. And I've mentioned this in the past videos, which I will have a link to if you're interested in checking those out. But I purchased from Studio Calico, I believe it's called the Find Your Adventure kit. It included a traveler's notebook, a stamp set, washi tape, some die cuts, and I wanted to use that for this album, but I didn't want to use it as an actual traveler's notebook. So I actually took the traveler's notebook apart. I just removed the staples and then trimmed down the pages to add to the Citrus Twist Life Crafted album. So the pattern paper that you see on the left-hand side is actually from that traveler's notebook. I'm also using quite a bit from my stash. I have some Pink Fresh Studio, I have some older crepe paper travel collections, and I also have another crepe paper collection. I can't remember the name of it. I've checked, I cannot find them any longer. So some of the die cuts and embellishments that you're going to see me use here are no longer available, but I'm sure that many of you have travel products in your stash that will work just as well. So I am documenting Beverly Hills today, and I have two 3x4 photos that I'm going to have on the left-hand side there. That is when we were on Rodeo Drive, and I'm just trimming down the white border around those photos. I've mentioned this in past videos too, but this is a newer size to me. I've worked in it just a couple times, and using landscape photos is something that I find to be a little bit challenging because they do fill up so much of the page. Now, I wanted to kind of ground that adventure chipboard piece, and I found a sticker from Pink Fresh Studio that said day trip, and I thought about adding the adventure on top of that, but it still felt a little bit lost. So I found a die cut. It was from a cut apart sheet that is that tan color. And I just trimmed out the tan portions of it. And I'm going to tuck it behind the day trip sticker. And then I'm also going to add another piece to the bottom of those 3x4 photos. I have a 3x4 insert on the right hand side that is just the top actually was those palm trees, and it is a Project Life card. It is not a photo that I took, but I thought that it looked like a photo, so I thought it worked well. And then I just have a photo of the Rodeo Drive sign, and then on the back side, I'm going to have a photo of me at it was a vending machine for cupcakes in Beverly Hills, and I just thought it was fun. And so a friend of mine snapped a picture of me getting the cupcake out of the vending machine. So for the next page, I'm actually going to have a flip out insert in this album, and it is a large photo that I printed. It's printed at 8.5 by 8.25, and I just trimmed it right down the middle. And I'm going to use one part of the photo on the inside of the flap and then the other part of the photo on the outside so you actually see the large photo when the flap is closed, which this will make a little bit more sense as you see it coming together. Now, these photos were taken at the historic cactus garden, and I wanted to add a title on to the large portion of the photo or the large photo, but my photo paper does not play well with any type of adhesive. So I wasn't sure what letters I wanted to use. So I actually put the letters on just a piece of packaging and then cut around them. That way I can lay them on top of the photo to see how it's going to look. And I'm so glad that I do that because those alpha stickers were just a little bit too light. And I went through my stash looking for some other stickers, but didn't really find anything. So I decided to move on to something else. So I'm going to go ahead and get the flap created for this flip out. Now, all I'm doing is using some just copy paper from my printer, and I'm adding adhesive on one side. I think this was cut at about 1.5 inches, and I just folded it in half, added adhesive on the one side. I'm going to add the adhesive to my photo, and then I'm going to add the pattern paper on the other side, and then I'll put the other part of the photo that's actually going to be seen on the outside. So hopefully that makes sense. Here you can see me kind of flipping it, and it takes me a little while to get that photo straight, but once I have it all straightened up, I'm just going to trim off any of the excess, so a little bit of the photo and then a little bit of the pattern paper, and here you can see how it's going to open and close. So once I check to make sure that my hinge is going to work okay, which it does, you have to leave a little gap of white space between the flap. Otherwise, the top portion doesn't want to lay completely flat when it's closed. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to getting this page embellished. I do have a 3x4 photo of us sitting on a bench that I'm going to add on the Inside of the flap, I'm also going to add a tag that's going to have some hidden journaling on it. And I just used a pencil to mark around the edge of the tag on the photo so I know where to add the adhesive, so that way the tag can slide in and out easily. I've decided that I'm going to use a die cut piece that says Rome as the title. And because it has that red color and I didn't have any of that red anywhere else, I grabbed a label from my stash and I'm just going to tuck it in right next to that tag. And it just brings a little bit of that red color up to the top of the spread. Now, included in the Studio Calico kit was a stamp set that had that little cactus on it, and I just thought it was so cute and worked so perfect for my photo. So I stamped it in the Yes Peas Studio Calico ink, but it was a little bit too light, or just the tone of it just wasn't quite right. So I went through my inks and I found the eucalyptus ink from Catherine Pooler, and I just stamped over the same cactus again, and it's much darker. It's definitely more of the color that I was looking for. So now I'm going to go ahead and get some adhesive foam on the back of that word Rome. And I felt like I needed to add a little bit more green onto the bottom portion of the spread, that dark green that I used with the cactus. So I'm going to use the same color ink in this film strip, which is part of the same stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp it underneath the photo. And it's just going to bring a little bit of that green color underneath. The word Rome is going to be set on top of it. So it's not going to be super noticeable, but it's going to be just enough to make it feel a little bit more balanced. There were also these little sentiments that fit over the images on that stamp set. So I grabbed one of those. I can't read it on my editing screen here, but I added that on, or right above the cactus. I also added a tiny word from that same stamp set onto that red label. And now I'm going back through my alphas again, trying to figure out what I want to use for my title. Again, I'm going to add it just a piece of packaging to start out to see if I like how it looks. Again, I don't really like how it looks because the background is that tan color, but the underneath portion of that word Rome is a very bright white. So I felt like the colors did not go well together. So then I found these alphas from Studio Calico, or I'm sorry, from Simple Stories, and I'm going to add those onto a label from Pink Fresh Studio. It is gray, so it goes really well with the gray tag that I have on the right-hand side of the spread. And I'm just going to add the word cactus using those alpha stickers from Simple Stories. And then I found a stamp set in my stash from Allie Edwards that had the word gardening on it, but I just wanted garden. So I'm going to use that with some red ink, and then I'm just going to use some washi tape to cover up the ing on the stamp set. And then I'm just going to stamp it right next to the word cactus. I wanted to bring in a little bit more gray on that right-hand side underneath the word Rome to create a visual triangle with that color. So I found a little arrow sticker from Pink Fresh Studio that I'm going to add underneath the word Rome. There I was just closing the flap to make sure that it was still going to close okay even with the adhesive, or excuse me, even with the foam adhesive behind the word Rome, and it works out fine. I had a little bit of a blank space underneath the word cactus, so I just used another stamp in black ink to stamp underneath that just to fill the label a little bit more. I'm still checking to make sure that that tag is going to lift in and out okay, and I'm trying to decide if I want to add anything to the outside of this photo. So I went ahead and brought my album back over just to see how everything was going to look when it was all laid out, and I decided not to add anything to the outside. Now, Citrus Twist has these little adhesive back strips that have the holes in them already, so that way you can add things outside the page protector, and that is what I used to add this spread into the album. I did add just a couple little puffy dots on the inside underneath the word Rome, and now I'm just going to do a little flip through here so you can see. I will add some journaling to that 3x4 card that is in the insert, but here you can kind of get an overview of what the album is looking like as it's coming together. I've mentioned this before, but I like to flip through the album once I get some new pages added in just to see how the flow of the album is going and if it is working out okay. And so far I'm really happy. So I will have some still shots coming up now video, and you will be able to see the journaling on the journaling card and on the tag that I added where I put the hidden journaling. So I do want to thank you all so much for watching. I'm getting some pretty good feedback, actually some really good feedback for this video series that I have going. And I would encourage you still, if you like these videos or if it's something that you enjoy watching, I would love if you like the video or leave me a comment. I do not do this professionally, obviously. It's just a hobby that I have. And the likes and the comments really help me know if this is something that I should still continue investing my time in, because videos are time consuming, taking the photos are time consuming. It's something that I am more than happy to do. I enjoy watching YouTube videos so much, and I just appreciate all the creators that put out content. So I am happy to continue doing it. I actually enjoy doing it, but I only enjoy doing it if people enjoy watching it. So please let me know if you enjoyed this and if you would like to see more, and I will be back again soon with a new process video. Thanks again so much for watching.